Hi, this is Stock Up 42. I will be reading chapters 21 through 50 in the Geneva 1599 version of the Bible, in a book called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. A supercomputer gives the answer 42 as the answer to life, the universe, and everything in it, and as followers of the way. We know the secret is the Father, Abba, Yahweh, and his Son, Yeshua. So let's stock up on the knowledge. 42 of the Word of Yahweh. You will find more readings of the Bible on our YouTube channel Stock Up 42 with the same logo. Genesis chapter 21. Now the Lord visited Sarah, as he had said, and did unto her according as he had promised. For Sarah conceived, and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the same season that God told him. And Abraham called his son's name that was born unto him, which Sarah bare him, Isaac. Then Abraham circumcised Isaac his son, when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. So Abraham was 100 years old, when his son Isaac was born unto him. Then Sarah said, God hath made me to rejoice. All that hear will rejoice with me. Again she said, who would have said to Abraham, that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Then the child grew, and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And this thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight, because of his son. But God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight for the child, and for thy bondwoman in all that Sarah shall say unto thee. Hear her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. As for the son of the bondwoman, I will make him a nation also, because he is thy seed. So Abraham arose up early in the morning, and took bread, and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child also, and sent her away, who departing, wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And when the water of the bottle was spent, she cast the child under a certain tree. Then she went and sat her over against him, afar off about a bowshoot, for she said, I will not see the death of the child. And she sat down over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept. Then God heard the voice of the child, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the child where he is. Arise, take up the child, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great people. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the boy drink. So God was with the child, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and was an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And at the same time Abimelech and Phicol his chief captain spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that thou wilt not hurt me, nor my children, nor my children's children. Thou shalt deal with me, and with the country where thou hast been a stranger, according unto the kindness that I have showed thee. Then Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham rebuked Abimelech for a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I know not who hath done this thing also, thou toldest me not, neither heard I of it, but this day. Then Abraham took sheep and beeves, and gave them unto Abimelech, and they two made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 lambs of the flock by themselves. Then Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 lambs, which thou hast set by themselves? And he answered, Because thou shalt receive of mine hand these 7 lambs, that it may be a witness unto me, that I have dug this well. Wherefore the place is called Beersheba, because there they both swear. Thus made they a covenant at Beersheba. Afterward Abimelech and Phicol the chief captain rose up, and turned again unto the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham was a stranger in the Philistines' land a long season. Genesis chapter 22. And after these things God did prove Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. Who answered, Here am I. And he said, Take now thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee unto the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will show thee. Then Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his servants with him, and Isaac his son, and clove wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went to the place which God had told him. Then the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off, and said unto his servants, Abide you here with the ass, for I and the child will go yonder and worship, and come again unto you. Then Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand, and the knife, and they went both together. Then spake Isaac unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he answered, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Then Abraham answered, My son, God will provide him a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both together. And when they came to the place which God had showed him, Abraham built an altar there, and couched the wood, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham, stretching forth his hand, took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called unto him from heaven, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he answered, Here am I. Then he said, Lay not thine hand upon the child, neither do anything unto him, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing for my sake thou hast not spared thine only son. And Abraham, lifting up his eyes, looked, and behold, there was a ram behind him, caught by the horns in a bush. Then Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said this day, In the mount will the Lord be seen. And the angel of the Lord cried unto Abraham from heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, because thou hast done this thing, and hast not spared thine only son. Therefore will I surely bless thee, and will greatly multiply thy seed, as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the megart of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Then turned Abraham again unto his servants, and they rose up, and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And after these things one told Abraham, saying, Behold Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, to wit, Achuzet his eldest son, and Baz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chest, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 did Milcah bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine called Reumah. She bare also Tebah, and Garham, and Thahash, and Bakar. Genesis chapter 23. When Sarah was 127 years old, so long lived she. Then Sarah died in Kirjath Arba, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah, and to weep for her. Then Abraham rose up from the sight of his corpse, and talked with the Hittites, saying, I am a stranger, and a foreigner among you. Give me a possession of burial with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. Then the Hittites answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord, thou art a prince of God among us. In the chiefest of our sepulchres bury the dead. None of us shall forbid thee his sepulchre, but thou mayst bury thy dead therein. Then Abraham stood up, and bowed himself before the people of the land of the Hittites. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I shall bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar, that he would give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath in the end of his field, that he would give it me for as much money as it is worth, for a possession to bury in among you. For Ephron dwelt among the Hittites. Then Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of all the Hittites that went in at the gates of his city, saying, No, my lord, hear me, the field give I thee, and the cave that therein is. I give it thee, even in the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee, to bury thy dead. Then Abraham bowed himself before the people of the land, and spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the country, saying, Seeing thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give the price of the field, receive it of me, and I will bury my dead there. Ephron then answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me, the land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. So Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named, in the audience of the Hittites, even 400 silver shekels of current money among merchants. So the field of Ephron which was in Machpelah, and over against Mamre, even the field and the cave that was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, which were in all the borders round about, was made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the sight of the Hittites, even of all that went in at the gates of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah over against Mamre, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Thus the field and the cave that is therein was made sure unto Abraham for a possession of burial by the Hittites. Genesis chapter 24. Now Abraham was old, and stricken in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. Therefore Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, which had the rule over all that he had, Put now thine hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord God of the heaven, and God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my country, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said to him, What if the woman will not come with me to this land? Shall I bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? To whom Abraham answered, Beware that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven, who took me from my father's house, and from the land where I was born, and that spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. Nevertheless, if the woman will not follow thee, then shalt thou be discharged of this mine oath, only bring not my son thither again. Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him for this matter. So the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for he had all his master's goods in his hand. And so he arose, and went to Aaron-Naharim, unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to lie down without the city by a well of water, at eventide about the time that the women come out to draw water. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I beseech thee, send me good speed this day, and show mercy unto my master Abraham. Lo, I stand by the well of water, while the men's daughters of this city come out to draw water. Grant therefore that the maid, to whom I say, Bow down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink if she say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink, also may be she, that thou hast ordained for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast showed mercy on my master. And now yet he had left speaking. Behold, Rebekah came out, the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor Abraham's brother, and her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the maid was very fair to look upon, a virgin and unknown of man, and she went down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her, and said, Let me drink, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, Drink, sir. And she hasted, and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had given him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until they have drunken enough. And she poured out her pitcher into the trough speedily, and ran again unto the well to draw water. And she drew for all his camels. So the man wondered at her, and held his peace, to know whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. And when the camels had left drinking, the man took a golden habiliment of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands, of 10 shekels weight of gold. And he said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? Then she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel the son of Milcah, whom she bare unto Nahor. Moreover, she said unto him, We have litter also, and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed himself, and worshipped the Lord, and said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, which hath not withdrawn his mercy, and his truth from my master. For when I was in the way, the Lord brought me to my master's brethren's house. And the maid ran and told them of her mother's house according to these words. Now Rebekah had a brother called Laban, and Laban ran unto the man to the well. For when he had seen the earrings and bracelets in his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus said the man unto me, then he went to the man, and lo, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord, wherefore standest thou without, seeing I have prepared the house, and room for the camels? Then the man came into the house, and he unsaddled the camels, and brought litter and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. Afterward the meat was set before him, but he said, I will not eat until I have said my message. And he said, Speak on. Then he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord hath blessed my master wonderfully, that he is become great, for he hath given him sheep, and beeves, and silver, and gold, and men servants, and maid servants, and camels, and asses. And Sarah my master's wife hath borne a son to my master, when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. Now my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. Then I said unto my master, What if the woman will not follow me? Who answered me, The Lord, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy journey. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred, and my father's house. Then shalt thou be discharged of mine oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and if they give thee not one, thou shalt be free from mine oath. So I came this day to the well, and said, O Lord, the God of my master Abraham, if thou now prosper my journey which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water when a virgin cometh forth to draw water. And I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she said to me, Drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let her be the wife, which the Lord hath prepared for thy master's son. And before I had made an end of speaking in mine heart, behold, Rebekah came forth, and her pitcher on her shoulder. And she went down to the well, and drew water. Then I said unto her, Give me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste, and took down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she gave the camels drink also. Then I asked her, and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she answered, The daughter of Bethuel Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. Then I put the obilment upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hands, and I bowed down and worshipped the Lord, and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which had brought me the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. Now therefore, if ye will deal mercifully and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn me to the right hand or to the left. Then answered Laban and Bethuel, and said, This thing is proceeded of the Lord, we cannot therefore say unto thee, Neither evil nor good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, that she may be thy master's son's wife, even as the Lord hath said. And when Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself toward the earth unto the Lord. Then the servant took forth jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment, and gave to Rebekah also unto her brother, and to her mother he gave gifts. Afterward they did eat and drink, both he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And when they rose up in the morning, he said, Let me depart unto my master. Then her brother and her mother answered, Let the maid abide with us, at the least 10 days, then shall she go. But he said unto them, Hinder you me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my journey, send me away, that I may go to my master. Then they said, We will call the maid, and ask her consent. And they called Rebekah, and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she answered, I will go. So they let Rebekah their sister go, and her nurse, with Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Grow into thousands, and thy seed possess the gate of his enemies. Then Rebekah arose, and her maids, and rode upon the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah, and departed. Now Isaac came from the way of Beer-lahai-roi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to pray in the field toward the evening, who lifted up his eyes and looked. And behold, the camels came. Also Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted down from the camel, for she had said to the servant, Who is yonder man that cometh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. So she took a veil, and covered her. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. Afterward Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah his mother. And he took Rebekah, and she was his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Genesis chapter 25. Now Abraham had taken him another wife called Keturah, which bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua, and Jokshan begat Sheba, and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashiram, and Letishim, and Lumim. Also the sons of Midian were Ephah, and Epiachah, and Hanik, and Abida, and Eldah. All these were the sons of Keturah. And Abraham gave all his goods to Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward to the east country. And this is the age of Abraham's life, which he lived, 175 years. Then Abraham yielded the spirit, and died in a good age, an old man, and of great years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron son of Zohar the Hittite, before Mamre, which field Abraham bought of the Hittites, where Abraham was buried with Sarah his wife. And after the death of Abraham God blessed Isaac his son, and Isaac dwelt by Beer-lahai-roi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian Sarah's handmaid bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, name by name, according to their kindreds. The eldest son of Ishmael was Nebajoth and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Juma, and Massa, Hadar, and Hema, Shetor, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their towns, and by their castles, to wit, 12 princes of their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he yielded up the spirit, and died. and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is towards Egypt, as thou goest to Asshur. Ishmael dwelt in the presence of all his brethren. Likewise, these are the generations of Isaac Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old, when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramite of Paddan Aram, and sister to Laban the Aramite. And Isaac prayed unto the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, but the children strove together within her. Therefore she said, Seeing it is so, why am I thus? Wherefore she went to ask the Lord. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be divided out of thy bowels. And the one people shall be mightier than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Therefore when her time of deliverance was fulfilled, behold, twins were in her womb. So he that came out first was red, and he was all over as rough as a garment. And they called his name Esau. And afterward came his brother out, and his hand held Esau by the heel. Therefore his name was called Jacob. Now Isaac was 80 years old when Rebekah bare them, and the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, and lived in the fields, but Jacob was a plain man, and dwelt in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, for venison was his meat, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and was weary. Then Esau said to Jacob, Eat me eat, I pray thee, of that pottage so red, for I am weary. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me even now thy birthright. And Esau said, Lo, I am almost dead. What is then this birthright to me? Jacob then said, Swear to me even now. And he sware to him, and sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. So Esau contemned his birthright. Genesis chapter 26. And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine. That was in the days of Abraham. Wherefore Isaac went to Abimelech king of the Philistines unto Gerar. For the Lord appeared unto him, and said, Go not down into Egypt, but abide in the land which I shall show thee. Dwell in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For to thee, and to thy seed, I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I sware unto Abraham thy father. Also I will cause thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept mine ordinance, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me, because of Rebekah, for she was beautiful to the eye. So after he had been there a long time, Abimelech king of the Philistines looked out at a window, and lo, he saw Isaac sporting with Rebekah his wife. Then Abimelech called Isaac, and said, Lo, she is of a surety thy wife. And why saidest thou, She is my sister? To whom Isaac answered, Because I thought this, it may be that I shall die for her. Then Abimelech said, Why hast thou done this unto us? One of the people had almost lain by thy wife. So shouldest thou have brought sin upon us. Then Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that shall shed this man, or his wife, shall die the death. Afterward Isaac sowed in that land, and found in the same year 100-fold, by estimation, and so the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed mightily, and still increased, till he was exceeding great. For he had flocks of sheep, and herds of cattle, and a mighty household. Therefore the Philistines had envy at him, insomuch that the Philistines stopped, and filled up with earth all the wells, which his father's servants dug in his father Abraham's time. Then Abimelech said unto Isaac, Get thee from us, for thou art mightier than we a great deal. Therefore Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac returning, dug the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he gave them the same names that his father gave them. Isaac's servants then dug in the valley, and found there a well of living water. But the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. Therefore called he the name of the well Esek, because they were at strife with him. Afterward they dug another well, and strove for that also, and he called the name of it Sitnah. Then he removed thence, and dug another well, for which they strove not. Therefore called he the name of it Rehoboth, and said, Because the Lord hath now made us room, we shall increase upon the earth. So he went up thence to Beersheba. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father, fear not, I am with thee. And and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. Then he built an altar there, and called upon the name of the Lord, and there spread his tent, where also Isaac's servants dug a well. Then came Abimelech to him from Gerar, and Ahuzzath one of his friends, and Phicol the captain of his army, to whom Isaac said, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have put me away from you? Who answered, We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee, and we thought thus, Let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, if thou shalt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and sent thee away in peace. Thou now, the blessed of the Lord, do this. Then he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up betimes in the morning, and sware one to another. Then Isaac let them go, and they departed from him in peace. And that same day Isaac's servants came and told him of a well, which they had dug, and said unto him, We have found water. So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is called Beersheba unto this day. Now when Esau was 40 years old, he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri an Hittite, and Basemath the daughter of Elon an Hittite also. And they were a grief of mind to Isaac and to Rebekah. Genesis chapter 27. And when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he answered him, I am here. Then he said, Behold, I am now old, and know not the day of my death. Wherefore now, I pray thee, take thine instruments, thy quiver and thy bow, and get thee to the field, that thou mayest take me some venison. Then make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it me, that I may eat, and that my soul may bless thee before I die. Now Rebekah heard, when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went into the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. Then Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I have heard thy father talking with Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord, before my death. Now therefore, my son, hear my voice in that which I command thee. Get thee now to the flock, and bring me thence to good kids of the goats, that I may make pleasant meat of them for thy father, such as he loved. Then thou shalt bring it to thy father, and he shall eat, to the intent that he may bless thee before his death. But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is rough, and I am smooth. My father may possibly feel me, and I shall seem to him as a mocker. So shall I bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. But his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse. My son, only hear my voice, and go and bring me them. So he went and set them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made pleasant meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took fair clothes of her elder son Esau, which were in her house, and clothed Jacob her younger son, and she covered his hands and the smooth of his neck with the skins of the kids of the goats. Afterward she put the pleasant meat and bread, which she had prepared, in the hand of her son Jacob. And when he came to his father, he said, My father. Who answered, I am here. Who art thou? My son. And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done as thou bardest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit up, and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. Then Isaac said unto his son, How hast thou found it so quickly, my son? Who said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to mine hand. Again said Isaac unto Jacob, Come near now, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be that my son Esau or not. Then Jacob came near to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. For he knew him not, because his hands were rough as his brother Esau's hands, wherefore he blessed him. Again he said, Art thou that my son Esau? Who answered, Yea. Then said he, Bring it me hither, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it to him, and he ate also. He brought him wine, and he drank. Afterward his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. Then he smelled the savour of his garments, and blessed him, and said, Behold, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord hath blessed. God give thee therefore of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of wheat and wine. Let people be thy servants, and nations bow down unto thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's children honour thee. Cursed be he that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And when Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, then came Esau his brother from his hunting, and he also prepared savoury meat, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. But his father Isaac said unto him, Who art thou? And he answered, I am thy son, even thy firstborn Esau. Then Isaac was stricken with a marvelous great fear, and said, Who and where is he that hunted venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and I have blessed him. Therefore he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with a great cry and bitter, out of measure, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, my father. Who answered, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. Then he said, Was he not justly called Jacob? For he hath deceived me these 2 times. He took my birthright, and lo, now hath he taken my blessing. Also he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? Then Isaac answered, and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I made his servants, and with wheat and wine have I furnished him. And unto thee now, what shall I do, my son? Then Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me, also my father. And Esau lifted up his voice, and wept. Then Isaac his father answered, and said unto him, Behold, the fatness of the earth shall be thy dwelling place, and thou shalt have of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy word shalt thou live, and shalt be thy brother's servant. But it shall come to pass, when thou shalt get the mastery, that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. Therefore Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau thought in his mind, The days of mourning for my father will come shortly. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. And it was told to Rebekah of the words of Esau her elder son. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau is comforted against thee, meaning to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, hear my voice, arise, and flee thou to Haran to my brother Laban, and tarry with him a while, until thy brother's fierceness be swagged, until thy brother's wrath turn away from thee, and he forget the things which thou hast done to him. Then will I send, and take thee from thence. Why should I be deprived of you both in one day? Also Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life for the daughters of Het. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Het, like these of the daughters of the land, what availeth it me to live? Genesis chapter 28. Then Isaac called Jacob, and blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, Take not a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, get thee to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel thy mother's father, and thence take thee a wife of the daughters of Laban thy mother's brother. And God all sufficient bless thee, and make thee to increase, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessing of Abraham, even to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. Thus Isaac sent forth Jacob, and he went to Paddan Aram unto Laban son of Bethuel the Aramite, brother to Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him to Paddan Aram, to fetch him a wife thence, and given him a charge when he blessed him, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Paddan Aram. Also Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan displeased Isaac his father, then went Esau to Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath the daughter of Ishmael Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. Now Jacob departed from Beersheba, and went to Haran. And he came unto a certain place, and tarried there all night, because the sun was down, and took of the stones of the place, and laid under his head, and slept in the same place. Then he dreamed, and behold, there stood a ladder upon the earth, and the top of it reached up to heaven, and lo, the angels of God went up and down by it. And behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land upon the which thou sleepest will I give thee and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And lo, I am with thee, and will keep thee whithersoever thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not forsake thee until I have performed that I have promised thee. Then Jacob awoke out of his sleep, and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware. And he was afraid, and said, How fearful is this place! This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Then Jacob rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had laid under his head, and set it up as a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, notwithstanding the name of that city was at the first called Eluzed. Then Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in this journey which I go, and will give me bread to eat, and clothes to put on, so that I come again unto my father's house in safety. Then shall the Lord be my God, and this stone, which I have set up as a pillar, shall be God's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, will I give the tenth unto thee. Genesis chapter 29. Then Jacob lifted up his feet, and came into the east country. And as he looked about, behold, there was a well in the field, and lo, 3 flocks of sheep lay thereby, for at that well were the flocks watered. And there was a great stone upon the well's mouth, and thither were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they answered, We are of Haran. Then he said unto them, Know ye Laban the son of Nahor? Who said, We know him. Again he said unto them, Is he in good health? And they answered, He is in good health. And behold, his daughter Rachel cometh with the sheep. Then he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be. Gather together, water ye the sheep, and go feed them. But they said, We may not, until all the flocks be brought together, until men roll a stone from the well's mouth, that we may water the sheep. While he talked with them, Rachel also came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And as soon as Jacob saw Rachel the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, then came Jacob near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. For Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. Then she ran and told her father. And when Laban heard tell of Jacob his sister's son, he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. To whom Laban said, Well, thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. For Laban said unto Jacob, Though thou be my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall be thy wages? Now Laban had 2 daughters, the elder called Leah, and the younger called Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and fair. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. Then Laban answered, It is better that I give her thee, than that I should give her to another man abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, because he loved her. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, that I may go into her, for my term is ended. Wherefore Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. But when the evening was come, he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah to be her servant. But when the morning was come, behold, it was Leah. Then said he to Laban, Wherefore hast thou done thus to me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban answered, It is not the manner of this place, to give the younger before the elder. Fulfill 7 years for her, and we will also give thee this for the service, which thou shalt serve me yet 7 years more. Then Jacob did so, and fulfilled her 7 years. So he gave him Rachel his daughter to be his wife. Laban also gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his maid to be her servant. So entered he into Rachel also, and loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served him yet 7 years more. When the Lord saw that Leah was despised, he made her fruitful, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Because the Lord hath looked upon my tribulation. Now therefore mine husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Now at this time will my husband keep me company, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. Moreover, she conceived again, and bare a son, saying, Now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. Genesis chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. Then Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, which hath withholden from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold my maid Bilhah, go into her, and she shall bear upon my knees, and I shall have children also by her. Then she gave him Bilhah her maid to wife, and Jacob went into her. So Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. Then said Rachel, God hath given sentence on my side, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah Rachel's maid conceived again, and bare Jacob the 2nd son. Then Rachel said, With excellent wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and have gotten the upper hand. And she called his name Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah Leah's maid bare Jacob a son. Then said Leah, A company cometh, and she called his name Gad. Again Zilpah Leah's maid bare Jacob another son. Then said Leah, Ah, blessed am I, for the daughters will bless me. And she called his name Asher. Now Reuben went in the days of the wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then said Rachel to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. But she answered her, Is it a small matter for thee to take mine husband, except thou take my son's mandrakes also? Then said Rachel, Therefore he shall sleep with thee this night for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came from the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Come in to me, for I have bought and paid for thee with my son's mandrakes. And he slept with her that night. And God heard Leah, and she conceived, and bare unto Jacob the fifth son. Then said Leah, God hath given me my reward, because I gave my maid to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. After, Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son. Then Leah said, God hath endowed me with a good dowry, now will mine husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. After that, she bare a daughter, and she called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God heard her, and opened her womb. So she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my rebuke. And she called his name Joseph, saying, The Lord will give me yet another son. And as soon as Rachel had borne Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto my place and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest what service I have done thee. To whom Laban answered, If I have now found favor in thy sight, tarry, I have perceived that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. Also he said, Appoint unto me thy wages, and I will give it thee. But he said unto him, Thou knowest what service I have done thee, and in what taking thy cattle hath been under me. For the little that thou hadst before I came is increased into a multitude, and the Lord hath blessed thee by my coming. But now, when shall I travail for mine own house also? Then he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob answered, Thou shalt give me nothing at all, if thou wilt do this thing for me. I will return, feed, and keep thy sheep. I will pass through all thy flocks this day, and separate from them all the sheep with little spots and great spots, and all black lambs among the sheep, and the great spotted, and little spotted among the goats, and it shall be my wages. So shall my righteousness answer for me hereafter, when it shall come for my reward before thy face. And every one that hath not little or great spots among the goats, and black among the sheep, the same shall be theft with me. Then Laban said, Go to, would God it might be according to thy saying. Therefore he took out the same day the he-goats, that were parti-coloured, and with great spots, and all the she-goats with little and great spots, and all that had white in them, and all the black among the sheep, and put them in the keeping of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob, and Jacob kept the rest of Laban's sheep. Then Jacob took rods of green poplar, and of hazel, and of the chestnut tree, and pilled white strakes in them, and made the white appear in the rods. Then he put the rods, which he had pilled, in the gutters and watering troughs, when the sheep came to drink, before the sheep, for they were in heat, when they came to drink, and the sheep were in heat before the rods, and afterward brought forth young of parti colour, and with small and great spots. And Jacob parted these lambs, and turned the faces of the flock towards those lambs parti-coloured, and all manner of black, among the sheep of Laban. So he put his own flock by themselves, and put them not with Laban's flock, and in every ramming time of the stronger sheep, Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the sheep in the gutters, that they might conceive before the rods. But when the sheep were feeble, he put them not in, and so the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. So the man increased exceedingly, and had many flocks, and maid servants, and men servants, and camels, and asses. Genesis chapter 31. Now he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of our father's goods hath he gotten all this honour. Also Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, that it was not towards him as in times past, and the Lord had said unto Jacob, Turn again into the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Therefore Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock. Then said he unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not towards me as it was wont, and the God of my father hath been with me. And ye know that I have served your father with all my might. But your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times. But God suffered him not to hurt me. If he thus said, The spotted shall be thy wages, then all the sheep were spotted. And if he said thus, The parti-coloured shall be thy reward, then bear all the sheep parti-coloured. Thus hath God taken away your father's substance, and given it me. For in ramming time I lifted up mine eyes, and saw in a dream, and behold, the he-goats leaped upon the she-goats, that were parti-colored with little and great spots spotted. And the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. And I answered, Lo, I am here. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see all the he-goats sleeping upon the she-goats that are parti-colored, spotted with little and great spots, for I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointedst the pillar, where thou vowed wast a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out of this country, and return unto the land where thou wast born. Then answered Rachel and Leah, and said unto him, Have we any more portion and inheritance in our father's house? Doth not he count us as strangers? For he hath sold us, and hath eaten up and consumed our money. Therefore all the riches which God hath taken from our father is ours and our children's. Now then, whatsoever God hath said unto thee, do it. Then Jacob rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and he carried away all his flocks, and all his substance which he had gotten, to wit, his riches which he had gotten in Paddan Aram, to go to Isaac his father unto the land of Canaan. When Laban was gone to shear his sheep, then Rachel stole her father's idols. Thus Jacob stole away the heart of Laban the Aramite, for he told him not that he fled. So fled he with all that he had, and he rose up, and passed the river, and set his face toward Mount Gilead. And the third day after was it told Laban that Jacob fled. Then he took his brethren with him, and followed after him 7 days' journey, and overtook him at Mount Gilead. And God came to Laban the Aramite in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob aught save good. Then Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount. And Laban also with his brethren pitched upon Mount Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done? Thou hast even stolen away mine heart, and carried away my daughters, as though they had been taken captives with the sword. Wherefore didst thou flee so secretly, and steal away from me? And didst not tell me, that I might have sent thee forth with mirth, and with songs, with timbrel, and with harp? But thou hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now thou hast done foolishly in doing so. I am able to do you evil. But the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob aught save good. Now though thou wentest thy way, because thou greatly longedst after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? Then Jacob answered, and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, and thought that thou wouldest have taken thy daughters from me. But with whom thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Search thou before our brethren what I have of thine, and take it to thee. But Jacob wist not that Rachel had stolen them. Then came Laban into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maids' tents, but found them not. So he went out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the idols, and put them in the camel's litter, and sat down upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. Then said she to her father, My lord, be not angry that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. So he searched, but found not the idols. Then Jacob was wroth, and chode with Laban. Jacob also answered, and said to Laban, What have I trespassed? What have I offended, that thou hast pursued after me, seeing thou hast searched all my stuff? What hast thou found of all thine household stuff? Put it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years I have been with thee thine ewes, and thy goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. Whatsoever was torn of beasts, I brought it not unto thee, but made it good myself of mine hand. Didst thou require it? Were it stolen by day, or stolen by night? I was in the day consumed with heat, and with frost in the night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thine house, and served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy sheep, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. But God beheld my tribulation, and the labor of mine hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. Then Laban answered, and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these sons are my sons, and these sheep are my sheep, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or to their sons which they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, I and thou, which may be a witness between me and thee. Then took Jacob a stone, and set it up as a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, Gather stones. Who brought stones, and made a heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jebus or Hadutha, and Jacob called it Galeed. For Laban said, This heap is witness between me And this day, therefore, he called the name of it Galeed. Also he called it Mizpah, because he said, The Lord look between me and he, when we shall be departed one from another. If thou shalt vex my daughters, or shalt take wives beside my daughters, there is no man with us. Behold, God is witness between me and thee. Moreover Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap, and behold the pillar, which I have set between me and thee. This heap shall be witness, and the pillar shall be witness, that I will not come over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for evil. The God of Abraham, and the God of Nahor, and the God of their father be judge between us. But Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob did offer a sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departing went unto his place again. Genesis chapter 32. Now Jacob went forth on his journey, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, This is God's host. And he called the name of the same place Mahanaim. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, into the country of Edom, to whom he gave commandment, saying, Thus shall ye speak to my lord Esau thy servant. Jacob saith thus, I have been a stranger with Laban, and tarried unto this time. I have beeves also, and asses, sheep, and men servants, and women servants, and have sent to shew my lord, that I may find grace in thy sight. So the messengers came again to Jacob, saying, We came unto thy brother Esau, and he also cometh against thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid, and was sore troubled, and divided the people that was with him, and the sheep, and the beeves, and the camels into 2 companies. For he said, If Esau come to the one company, and smite it, the other company shall escape. Moreover Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, Lord, which saidst unto me, Return unto thy country, and to thy kindred, and I will do thee good. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies, and all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff came I over this Jordan, and now have I gotten to bands. I pray thee, deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother upon the children. And thou saidest, I will surely do to thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he tarried there that same night, and took of that which came to hand, a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bullocks, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. So he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass before me, and put a space between drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, If my brother Esau meet thee, and ask thee, saying, Whose servant art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, They be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, he himself also is behind us. So likewise commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, After this manner, Ye shall speak unto Esau, when ye find him. And ye shall say moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob cometh after us. For he thought, I will appease his wrath with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. It may be that he will accept me. So went the present before him, but he tarried that night with the company. And he rose up the same night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 maids, and his 11 children, and went over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the river, and sent over that he had. Now when Jacob was left himself alone, there wrestled a man with him unto the breaking of the day, and he saw that he could not prevail against him. Therefore he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was loosed, as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the morning appeareth. Who answered, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Then said he unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And said he, Thy name shall be called Jacob no more, but Israel, because thou hast had power with God. Thou shalt also prevail with men. And Jacob demanded, saying, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore now dost thou ask my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for, said he, I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And the sun rose up to him as he passed Peniel, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew, which shrank in the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the sinew that shrank in the hollow of Jacob's thigh. Genesis chapter 33. And as Jacob lifted up his eyes, and looked, behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children to Leah, and unto Rachel, and to the 2 maids. And he put the maids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. So he went before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And they wept. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are these with thee? And he answered, They are the children whom God of his grace hath given thy servant. Then came the maids near, they and their children, and bowed themselves. Leah also with her children came near, and made obeisance. And after Joseph and Rachel drew near, and did reverence. Then he said, What meanest thou by all this drove, which I met? Who answered, I have sent it, that I may find favor in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother, keep that thou hast to thyself. But Jacob answered, Nay, I pray thee, if I have found grace now in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand, for I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God. Because thou hast accepted me, I pray thee take my blessing. That is brought thee, for God hath had mercy on me. And therefore I have all things, for he compelled him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey and go, and I will go before thee. Then he answered him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the ewes and kine with young under mine hand, and if they should overdrive them one day, all the flock would die. Let now my Lord go before his servant, and I will drive softly, according to the pace of the cattle, which is before me, and as the children be able to endure, until I come to my Lord unto Seir. Then Esau said, I will leave then some of my folk with thee. And he answered, What needeth this? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned, and went his way that same day unto Seir. And Jacob went forward toward Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore he called the name of the place Succoth. Afterward Jacob came safe to Shechem, a city, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Paddan Aram, and pitched before the city. And there he bought a parcel of ground, where he pitched his tent, at the hand of the sons of Hamor Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he set up there an altar, and called it, The Mighty God of Israel. Genesis chapter 34. Then Dinah the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of that country, whom when Shechem the son of Hamor the Hivite lord of that country saw, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her. So his heart clave unto Dinah the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the maid, and spake kindly to the maid. Then said Shechem to his father Hamor, saying, Get me this maid to wife. Now Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter, and his sons were with his cattle in the field. Therefore Jacob held his peace, until they were come. Then Hamor the father of Shechem went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And when the sons of Jacob were come out of the field and heard it, it grieved the men, and they were very angry, because he had wrought villainy in Israel, in that he had lain with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. Give her him to wife. I pray you, so make affinity with us. Give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you, and ye shall dwell with us. And the land shall be before you. Dwell, and do your business in it, and have your possessions therein. Shechem also said unto her father and unto her brethren, Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give whatsoever ye shall appoint me. Ask of me abundantly both dowry and gifts, and I will give as ye appoint me, so that ye give me the maid to wife. Then the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father, talking deceitfully, because he had defiled their sister. And they said unto them, We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to an uncircumcised man, for that were a reproof unto us. But in this we will consent unto you, if ye will be as we are, that every man child among you be circumcised. Then will we give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and will dwell with you, and be one people. But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter and depart. Now their words pleased Hamor, and Shechem Hamor's son, and the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he loved Jacob's daughter. He was also the most set by of all his father's house. Then Hamor and Shechem his son went unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us, and that they may dwell in the land, and do their affairs therein. For behold, the land hath room enough for them. Let us take their daughters to wives, and give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, and to be one people. If all the men children among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised, shall not their flocks and their substance and all their cattle be ours? Only let us consent herein unto them, and they will dwell with us. and unto Hemah, and Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and all the men children were circumcised, even all that went out of the gate of his city. And on the third day, when they were saw to of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took either of them his sword, and went into the city boldly, and slew every male. They slew also Hemah and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went their way. Again, the other sons of Jacob came upon the dead, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their sheep and their beeves, and their asses, and whatsoever was in the city and in the fields. Also they carried away captive, and spoiled all their goods, and all their children and their wives, and all that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, Ye have troubled me, and made me stink among the inhabitants of the land, as well the Canaanites, as the Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me, and slay me, and so shall I, and my house be destroyed. And they answered, Should he abuse our sister as a whore? Genesis chapter 35. Then God said to Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God, that appeared unto thee, when thou fleddest from Esau thy brother. Then said Jacob unto his household, and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and cleanse yourselves, and change your garments, for we will rise and go up to Bethel, and I will make an altar there unto God, which heard me in the day of my tribulation, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hands, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under an oak, which was by Shechem. Then they went on their journey, and the fear of God was upon the cities that were round about them, so that they did not follow after the sons of Jacob. So came Jacob to Eluzed, which is in the land of Canaan, the same is Bethel, and all the people that were with him, and he built there an altar, and had called the place the God of Bethel, because that God appeared unto him there, when he fled from his brother. But Deborah Rebekah's nurse died, and was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and he called the name of it Alan Bashut. Again God appeared unto Jacob, after he came to Paddan Aram, and blessed him. Moreover God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob, thy name shall be no more called Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God all-sufficient, grow, and multiply a nation, and a multitude of nations shall spring of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. Also I will give the land, which I gave to Abraham and Isaac, unto thee, and unto thy seed after thee will I give that land. So God ascended from him in the place where he had talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and poured drink offerings thereon also. He poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of that place where God spake with him, Bethel. Then they departed from Bethel. And when there was about half a day's journey of ground to come to Ephrath, Rachel travailed, and in travailing she was in peril. And when she was in the pains of her labor, the midwife said unto her, Fear not, for thou shalt have this son also. And then as she was about to yield up the ghost, for she died, she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. Thus died Rachel, and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. This is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. Then Israel went forward, and pitched his tent beyond Migdal-Eder. Now when Israel dwelt in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. And it came to Israel's ear. And Jacob had 12 sons, the sons of Leah, Reuben Jacob's eldest son, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun the sons of Rachel Joseph, and Benjamin, and the sons of Bilhah Rachel's maid Dan, and Naphtali, and the sons of Zilpah Leah's maid Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born him in Paddan Aram. Then Jacob came unto Isaac his father unto Mamre, a city of Kirjath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac were strangers. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Genesis chapter 36. Now these are the generations of Esau, which is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adh, the daughter of Elon and Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon and Hivite, and took Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. And Adh bare unto Esau Eliphaz, and Basemath bare Royal. Also Aholibamah bare Jeush, and Jarlam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born to him in the land of Canaan. So Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the souls of his house, and his flocks, and all his cattle, and all his substance, which he had gotten in the land of Canaan, and went into another country from his brother Jacob. For their riches were so great that they could not dwell together, and the land, wherein they were strangers, could not receive them because of their flocks. Therefore dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. This Esau is Edom. So these are the generations of Esau father of Edom. In Mount Seir these are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau, and Reuel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz Esau's son, and bare unto Eliphaz. Amalek. These be the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Reuel, Nahath, and Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These be the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife, for she bare unto Esau Jeush, and Jalem, and Korah. These were dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz. The firstborn of Esau, Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son, Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shammah, Duke Mizah. These are the dukes that came of Reuel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. Likewise these were the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife, Duke Jeush, Duke Jalem, Duke Korah. These dukes came of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the children of Esau, and these are the dukes of them. This Esau is Edom. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, which inhabited the land before Lotan, and Shobal, and Zibeon, and Anah, and Dishon, and Ezedah, and Dishon. These are the dukes of the Horites, the sons of Seir in the land of Edom. And the sons of Lotan were Hori and Hemam, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. And the sons of Shobal were these: Alvan, and Manahath, and Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. And these are the sons of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was Anah that found mules in the wilderness, as he fed his father Zibeon's asses. And the children of Anah were these: Dishon and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah. Also these are the sons of Dishon: Hemdan, and Eshban, and Ithran, and Kiran. The sons of Ezedah are these: Bilin, and Sovan, and Arkan. The sons of Dishon are these: Uzid and Aaron. These are the dukes of the Horites: Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishon, Duke Ezedah, Duke Dishon. These be the dukes of the Horites, after their dukedoms in the land of Seir. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom, before they reigned any king over the children of Israel. Then Bela the son of Beor reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And when Bela died, Jobab the son of Zerah of Bozrah reigned in his stead. When Jobab also was dead, Husham of the land of Temani reigned in his stead. And after the death of Husham, Hadad the son of Bedad, which slew Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Avith. When Hadad was dead, then Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his stead. When Samlah was dead, Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. When Saul died, Baal-Hanan the son of Akbor reigned in his stead. And after the death of Baal-Hanan the son of Akbor, Hadad reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Piru, and his wife's name Mehetabel, the daughter of Matid, the daughter of Mezahab. Then these are the names of the dukes of Esau according to their families, their places, and by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jetheth, Duke Aholibamah, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Teman, Duke Midzah, Duke Magdiel, Duke Aram. These be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations, in the land of their inheritance. This Esau is the father of Edom. Genesis chapter 37. Jacob now dwelt in the land, wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob when Joseph was 17 years old. He kept sheep with his brethren, and the child was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto their father their evil, saying, Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his sons, because he begat him in his old age, and he made him a coat of many colours. So when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, then they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and told his brethren, who hated him so much the more. For he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. Behold now, we were binding sheaves in the midst of the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves compassed round about, and did reverence to my sheaf. Then his brethren said to him, What? Shalt thou reign over us, and rule us? or shalt thou have altogether dominion over us? And they hated him so much the more for his dreams and for his words. Again he dreamed another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have had one dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars did reverence to me. Then he told it unto his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this thy dream, which thou hast dreamed? Shall I, and thy mother, and thy brethren come indeed, and fall on the ground before thee? And his brethren envied him. But his father noted the saying. Then his brethren went to keep their father's sheep in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren keep in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee to them. And he answered him, I am here. Then he said unto him, Go now, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and how the flocks prosper, and bring me word again. So he sent him from the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. Then a man found him, for lo, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he answered, I seek my brethren, tell me, I pray thee, where they keep sheep. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go unto Dothan. Then went Joseph after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came at them, they conspired against him for to slay him. For they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer come. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, A wicked beast hath devoured him. Then we shall see what will come of his dreams. But when Reuben heard that, he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. Also Reuben said unto them, Shed not blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him. Thus he said, that he might deliver him out of their hand, and restore him to his father. Now when Joseph was come unto his brethren, they stripped Joseph out of his coat, his parti-coloured coat that was upon him, and they took him, and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, without water in it. Then they sat them down to eat bread, and lift up their eyes, and looked. And behold, there came a company of Ishmaelites from Gilead, and their camels laden with spicery, and balm, and myrrh, and were going to carry it down into Egypt. Then Judah said to his brethren, What availeth it, if we slay our brother? For we keep his blood secret. Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother. And our flesh and his brethren obeyed. Then the Midianites merchant men passed by, and they drew forth, and lift Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, who brought Joseph into Egypt. Afterward Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. Then he rent his clothes, and returned to his brethren, and said, The child is not yonder, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. So they sent that parti-coloured coat, and they brought it unto their father, and said, This have we found see now, whether it be thy son's coat, or no. Then he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat, a wicked beast hath devoured him. Joseph is surely torn in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth about his loins, and sorrowed for his son a long season. Then all his sons and his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he would not be comforted, but said, Surely I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. So his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an eunuch of Pharaoh's, and his chief steward. Genesis chapter 38. And at that time Judah went down from his brethren, and turned into a man called Hira, an Adullamite. And Judah saw there a daughter of a man called Shua, a Canaanite. And he took her to wife, and went into her. So she conceived, and bare a son, and he called his name Er. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. Moreover, she bare yet a son, whom she called Shelah. And Judah was at Chezer when she bare him. Then Judah took a wife to her his firstborn son, whose name was Tamar. Now the firstborn of Judah was wicked in the sight of the Lord, therefore the Lord slew him. And Judah said to Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and do the office of a kinsman unto her, and raise up seed unto thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. Therefore, when he went in unto his brother's wife, he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And it was wicked in the eyes of the Lord, which he did, wherefore he slew him also. Then Judah said to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow in thy father's house, till Shelah my son grow up. For he thought thus, lest he die as well as his brethren. So Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in process of time also the daughter of Shua Judah's wife died. Then Judah, when he had left mourning, went up to his sheep shearers to Timnah, he and his neighbor Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. Then she put her widow's garments from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat down in Bether-Eneim, which is by the way to Timnah, because she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he judged her an whore, for she had covered her face. And he turned to the way towards her, and said, Come, I pray thee, let me lie with thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she answered, What wilt thou give me for to lie with me? Then said he, I will send thee a kid of the goats from the flock. And she said, Well, if thou wilt give me a pledge, till thou send it. Then he said, What is the pledge that I shall give thee? And she answered, Thy signet, and thy cloak, and thy staff that is in thine hand. So he gave it her, and lay by her, and she was with child by him. Then she rose, and went and put her veil from her, and put on her widow's raiment. Afterward Judah sent a kid of the goats, by the hand of his neighbor the Adullamite, for to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then asked he the men of the place, saying, Where is the whore that sat in Enaim by the wayside? And they answered, There was no whore there. He came therefore to Judah again, and said, I could not find her. And also the men of the place said, There was no whore there. Then Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. Now after 3 months, one told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the whore, and lo, with playing the whore, she is great with child. Then Judah said, Bring ye her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man, unto whom these things pertain, am I with child? And said also, Look, I pray thee, whose these are, the seal, and the cloak, and the staff. Then Judah knew them, and said, She is more righteous than I, for she hath done it because I gave her not to Shelah my son. So he lay with her no more. Now, when the time was come that she should be delivered, behold, there were twins in her womb. And when she was in travail, the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound a red thread about his hand, saying, This is come out first. But when he plucked his hand back again, lo, his brother came out. And the midwife said, How hast thou broken the breach upon thee? And his name was called Perez. And afterward came out his brother that had the red thread about his hand, and his name was called Zerah. But he refused, and said to his master's wife, Behold, my master knoweth not what he hath in the house with me, but hath committed all that he had to mine hand. There is no man greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept anything from me, but only thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, and so sin against God? And albeit she spake to Joseph day by day, yet he hearkened not unto her, to lie with her, or to be in her company. Then on a certain day Joseph entered into the house to do his business, and there was no man of the household in the house. Therefore she caught him by his garment, saying, Sleep with me. But he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. Now when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled out, she called unto the men of her house, and told them, saying, Behold, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us, who came into me for to have slept with me. But I cried with a loud voice. And when he heard that I lift up my voice and cried, he left his garments with me, and fled away, and got him out. So she laid up his garment by her, until her lord came home. Then she told him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in to me, to mock me. But as soon as I lift up my voice and cried, he left his garment with me, and fled out. Then when his master heard the words of his wife, which she told him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, his anger was kindled. And Joseph's master took him, and put him in prison, in the place where the king's prisoners lay bound, and there he was in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and got him favor in the sight of the master of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, that did he. And the keeper of the prison looked unto nothing that was under his hand, seeing that the Lord was with him for whatsoever he did. The Lord made it to prosper. Genesis chapter 40. And after these things, the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker offended their lord the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry against his 2 officers, against the chief butler, and against the chief baker. Therefore he put them in ward in his chief steward's house, in the prison and place where Joseph was bound. And the chief steward gave Joseph charge over them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they both dreamed a dream, either of them his dream in one night, each one according to the interpretation of his dream, both the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt. which were bound in the prison. And when Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers, that were with him in his master's ward, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? Who answered him, We have dreamed each one a dream, and there is none to interpret the same. Then Joseph said unto them, Are not interpretations of God? Tell them me now. So the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said unto him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and as it budded, her flower came forth, and the clusters of grapes waxed ripe. And I had Pharaoh's cup in mine hand, and I took the grapes, and wrung them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Then Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thine office, and thou shalt give Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the old manner, when thou wast his butler. But have me in remembrance with thee, when thou art in good case, and show mercy, I pray thee unto me, and make mention of me to Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring me out of this house. For I was stolen away by theft out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing. Wherefore they should put me in the dungeon. And when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, Also methought in my dream that I had 3 white baskets on mine head, and in the uppermost basket there was of all manner bakemeats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon mine head. Then Joseph answered, and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days shall Pharaoh take thine head from thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And so the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler, and the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership, who gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand, but he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted unto them. Yet the chief butler did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. Genesis chapter 41. And 2 years after, Pharaoh also dreamed, and behold, he stood by a river, and lo, there came out of the river 7 goodly kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And lo, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, evil-favoured and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the evil-favoured and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favoured and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke. Again he slept, and dreamed the 2nd time, and behold, 7 ears of corn grew upon one stalk, rank and goodly. And lo, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprang up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. Then Pharaoh awaked, and lo, it was a dream. Now when the morning came, his spirit was troubled. Therefore he sent, and called all the soothsayers of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dreams, but none could interpret them to Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I call to mind my faults this day. Pharaoh being angry with his servants, put me in ward in the chief steward's house, both me and the chief baker. Then we dreamed a dream in one night, both I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was with us a young man, in Hebrew, servant unto the chief steward, whom when we told, he declared our dreams to us. To everyone he declared according to his dream. And as he declared unto us, so it came to pass, for he restored me to mine office, and hanged him. Then sent Pharaoh, and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of prison. And he shaved him, and changed his raiment, and came to Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and no man can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee, that when thou hearest a dream, thou canst interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, Without me God shall answer for the wealth of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph in my dream, Behold, I stood by the bank of the river, and lo, there came up out of the river 7 fat-fleshed and well-favoured kine, and they fed in the meadow. Also lo, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very evil-favoured kine, and lean-fleshed. I never saw the like in all the land of Egypt, for evil-favoured. And the lean and the evil-favoured kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still as evil-favoured. As they were at the beginning, so did I awake. Moreover, I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears sprang out of one stalk, full and fair. And lo, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprang up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. Now I have told the soothsayers, and none can declare it unto me. Then Joseph answered Pharaoh, Both Pharaoh's dreams are one. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, And the 7 good years are 7 years, this is one dream. Likewise, the 7 thin and evil favored kine that came out after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind are 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have said unto Pharaoh, that God hath showed unto Pharaoh what he is about to do. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty in all the land of Egypt. Again, there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, so that all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt. And the famine shall consume the land, neither shall the plenty be known in the land, by reason of this famine that shall come after, for it shall be exceeding great. And therefore the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh the 2nd time, because the thing is established by God, and God hasteth to perform it. Now therefore let Pharaoh provide for a man of understanding and wisdom, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh make and appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. Also let them gather all the food of these good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it, so the food shall be for the provision of the land, against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not by famine. And the saying pleased Pharaoh and all his servants. Then said Pharaoh unto his servants, Can we find such a man as this, in whom is the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is no man of understanding or wisdom like unto thee. Thou shalt be over mine house, and at thy word shall all my people be armed. Only in the king's throne will I be above thee. Moreover, Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in garments of fine linen, and put a golden chain about his neck. So he sat him upon the best chariot that he had, save one, and they cried before him, Abrek, and placed him over all the land of Egypt. Again Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand, or his foot in the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath the daughter of Potiphera prince of On. Then went Joseph abroad in the land of Egypt, and Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh king of Egypt. And Joseph departing from the presence of Pharaoh went throughout all the land of Egypt 47, and in the 7 plenteous years the earth abrid fourscore, 48. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 plenteous years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field, that was round about every city, laid he up in the same. 49. So Joseph gathered wheat, like unto the sand of the sea, in multitude out of measure, until he left numbering, for it was without number. 50 now unto Joseph were born to sons before the year of famine came, which Asenath the daughter of Potiphera prince of On bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my labor and all my father's household. Also he called the name of the second Ephraim, for God, said he, hath made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. So the 7 years of the plenty that was in the land of Egypt were ended. Then began the 7 years of famine to come, according as Joseph had said, and the famine was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt was bread. At the length all the land of Egypt was famished, and the people cried unto Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go to Joseph what he saith to you. Do ye, when the famine was upon all the land, Joseph opened all places, wherein the store was, and sold unto the Egyptians, for the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came to Egypt to buy corn of Joseph, because the famine was sore in all lands. Genesis chapter 42. Then Jacob saw that there was food in Egypt. And Jacob said unto his sons, Why gaze ye one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is food in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy us food thence, that we may live and not die. So went Joseph's 10 brethren down to buy corn of the Egyptians. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, would not Jacob send with his brethren, for he said, Lest death should befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy food among them. That came, for there was famine in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was governor of the land, who sold to all the people of the land. Then Joseph's brethren came, and bowed their faces to the ground before him. And when Joseph saw his brethren, he knew them, and made himself strange toward them, and spake to them roughly, and said unto them, Whence come ye? Who answered, Out of the land of Canaan, to buy victuals. Now Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams, which he dreamed of them, and he said unto them, Ye are spies, and are come to see the weakness of the land. But they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy victuals thy servants are come. We are all one man's sons, we mean truly. and thy servants are no spies. But he said unto them, Nay, but ye are come to see the weakness of the land. And they said, We thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan, and behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. Again Joseph said unto them, This is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. Ye shall not go hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you which may fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh ye are but spies. So he put them in ward 3 days. Then Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do, and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in your prison house. And go ye, carry food for the famine of your houses, but bring your younger brother unto me, that your words may be tried, and that ye die not. And they did so. And they said one to another, We have verily sinned against our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul, when he besought us, and we would not hear him. Therefore is this trouble come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Warned I not you, saying, Sin not against the child, and ye would not hear, and lo, his blood is now required. And they were not aware that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. Then he turned from them, and wept, and turned to them again, and communed with them, and took Simeon from among them, and bound him before their eyes. So Joseph commanded that they should fill their sacks with wheat, and put every man's money again in his sack, and give them victuals for the journey. And thus did he unto them. And they laid their victuals upon their asses, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack for to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money, for lo, it was in his sack's mouth. Then he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, for lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were astonished, and said one to another, What is this that God hath done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that had befallen them, saying, The man who is lord of the land spake roughly to us, and put us in prison as spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, and are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father one is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. Then the lord of the country said unto us, Hereby shall I know if ye be true men. Leave one of your brethren with me, and take food for the famine of your houses, and depart, and bring your youngest brother unto me, that I may know that ye are no spies, but true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall occupy in the land. And as they emptied their sacks, behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of their money, they were afraid. Then Jacob their father said to them, Ye have robbed me of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin. All these things are against me. Then Reuben answered his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons. If I bring him not to thee again, deliver him to mine hand, and I will bring him to thee again. But he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone, if death come unto him by the way which ye go. Then ye shall bring my grey head with sorrow unto the grave. Genesis chapter 43. Now great famine was in the land, and when they had eaten up the victuals which they had brought from Egypt, their father said unto them, Turn again, and buy us a little food. And Judah answered him, saying, The man charged us by an oath, saying, Never see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down, and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Look me not in the face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so evil with me, as to tell the man, whether ye had yet a brother or no? And they answered, The man asked straitly of ourselves and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye any brother? And we told him according to these words could we know certainly, that he would say, Bring your brother down. Then said Judah to Israel his father, Send the boy with me, that we may rise and go, and that we may live, and not die, both we, and thou, and our children. I will be surety for him. Of mine hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not to thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame for ever. For except we had made this tarrying, doubtless by this we had returned the 2nd time. Then their father Israel said unto them, If it must needs be so now, do thus take of the best fruits of the land in your vessels, and bring them and a present, a little rosin, and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in your sacks' mouths carry it again in your hand, lest it were some oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, and go again to the man. And God Almighty give you mercy in the sight of the man, that he may deliver you your other brother, and Benjamin. But I shall be robbed of my child, as I have been. Thus the men took this present, and took twice so much money in their hand with Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to his steward, Bring these men home, and kill meat, and make ready, for the men shall eat with me at noon. And the men did as Joseph bade, and brought the men unto Joseph's house. Now when the men were brought into Joseph's house, they were afraid, and said, Because of the money that came in our sacks' mouths at the first time, are we brought, that he may pick a quarrel against us, and lay something to our charge, and bring us in bondage, and our asses. Therefore came they to Joseph's steward, and communed with him at the door of his house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down hither at the first time to buy food. And as we came to an inn, and opened our sacks, behold, every man's money was in his sack's mouth, even our money in full weight. But we have brought it in our hands. Also other money have we brought in our hands to buy food, but we cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you. Fear not your God, and the God of your father hath given you the treasure in your sacks. I had your money, and he brought forth Simeon to them. So the man led them into Joseph's house, and gave them water to wash their feet, and gave their asses provender. And they made ready their present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard say that they should eat bread there. When Joseph came home, they brought the present into the house to him, which was in their hands, and bowed down to the ground before him. And he asked them of their prosperity, and said, Is your father the old man, of whom ye told me, in good health? Is he yet alive? Who answered, Thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down, and made obeisance. And he, lifting up his eyes, beheld his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye told me? And he said, God be merciful unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his affection was inflamed toward his brother, and sought where to weep, and entered into his chamber, and wept there. Afterward he washed his face, and came out, and refrained himself, and said, Sit on meat. And they prepared for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, which did eat with him, by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that was an abomination unto the Egyptians. So they sat before him, the eldest according unto his age, and the youngest according unto his youth. And the men marveled among themselves. And they took meats from before him, and sent to them. But Benjamin's meat was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank. And he had of the best drink with him. Genesis chapter 44. Afterward he commanded his steward, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, I mean the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the commandment that Joseph gave him. And in the morning the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they went out of the city not far off, Joseph said to his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not that the cup wherein my Lord drinketh, and in the which he doth divine and prophesy? Ye have done evil in so doing. And when he overtook them, he said these words unto them. And they answered him, Wherefore saith my Lord such words? God forbid that thy servants should do such a thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now then let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then at once every man took down his sack to the ground, and every one opened his sack. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and ladded every man his ass, and went again into the city. So Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. Then Joseph said unto them, What act is this which ye have done? Know ye not that such a man as I can divine and prophesy? Then said Judah, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? And how can we justify ourselves? God hath found out the wickedness of thy servants. Behold, we are servants to my Lord, both we and he with whom the cup is found. But he answered, God forbid that I should do so, but the man with whom the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And go ye in peace unto your father. Then Judah drew near unto him, and said, O my lord, let thy servant now speak a word in my lord's ears. and let not thy wrath be kindled against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father or a brother? And we answered, My lord, we have a father that is old, and a young child, which he begat in his age, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loved him. Now thou saidest unto thy servants, Bring him unto me, that I may set mine eye upon him. And we answered, My lord, the child cannot depart his father, for if he leave his father would die. Then saidest thou unto thy servants, Except your younger brother come down with you, look in my face no more. So when we came unto thy servant our father, and showed him what my lord had said, and our father said unto us, Go again, buy us a little food. Then we answered, We cannot go down. But if our youngest brother go with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. Then thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, Of a surety he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. Now ye take this also away from me, if death take him. Then ye shall bring my grey head in sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the child be not with us, seeing that his life dependeth on the child's life, then when he shall see that the child is not come, he will die. So shall thy servants bring down the grey head of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. Doubtless thy servant became surety for the child to my father, and if I bring him not unto thee again, then I will bear the blame unto my father forever. Now therefore, I pray thee, let me thy servant abide for the child as a servant to my lord, and let the child go up with his brethren. For how can I go up to my father if the child be not with me, unless I would see the evil that shall come on my father? Genesis chapter 45. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all that stood by him, but he cried, Have forth every man from me. And there tarried not one with him, while Joseph uttered himself unto his brethren. And he wept and cried, so that the Egyptians heard, the house of Pharaoh heard also. Then Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live? But his brethren could not answer him, for they were astonished at his presence. Again Joseph said to his brethren, Come near, I pray you, to me. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not sad, neither grieve with yourselves, that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you for your preservation. For now 2 years of famine have been through the land, and 5 years are behind, wherein neither shall be earing nor harvest. Wherefore God sent me before you to preserve your posterity in this land, and to save you alive by a great deliverance. Now then, you send not me hither, but God, who hath made me a father unto Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste you, and go up to my father, and tell him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and shalt be near me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy sheep, and thy beasts, and all that thou hast. Also I will nourish thee there, for yet remain 5 years of famine, lest thou perish through poverty, thou and thy household, and all that thou hast. And behold, your eyes do see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that my mouth speaketh to you. Therefore tell my father of all mine honour in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and make haste, and bring my father hither. Then he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept. And Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren, and wept upon them. And afterward his brethren talked with him. And the tidings came to Pharaoh's house, so that they said, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to thy brethren, This do ye, lade your beasts, and depart. Go to the land of Canaan, and take your father, and your household, and come to me, and I will give you the best of the land of Egypt. And ye shall eat of the fat of the land. And I command thee, thus do ye, take you chariots out of the land of Egypt for your children, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them chariots according to the commandment of Pharaoh. He gave them victuals also for the journey. He gave them all, none except change of raiment. But unto Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 suits of raiment. And unto his father likewise he sent 10 he asses laden with the best things of Egypt, and 10 she asses laden with wheat, and bread and meat for his father by the way. So sent he his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, Fall not out by the way. Then they went up from Egypt, and came unto the land of Canaan, unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he also is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart failed, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. But when he saw the chariots, which Joseph had sent to carry him, then the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, I have enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him, yet I die. Genesis chapter 46. Then Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifice unto the God of his father Isaac. And God spake unto Israel in a vision by night, saying, Jacob, Jacob. Who answered, I am here. Then he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also bring thee up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. Then Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father, and their children, and their wives in the chariots, which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle, and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, both Jacob and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he with him into Egypt. And these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt, even Jacob and his sons Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben Hanok, and Palu, and Hezron, and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon Jemuel, and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zohar, and Shaul the son of a Canaanitish woman, also the sons of Levi Gershon, Kuhath, and Merari, also the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah, and Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamel, also the sons of Issachar Tola, and Puvah, and Job, and Shimron, also the sons of Zebulun Sered, and Elon, and Jaleel. These be the sons of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob in Paddan Aram, with his daughter Dinah. All the souls of his sons and his daughters were 33. Also the sons of Gad Ziphion, and Haggi, Shuni, and Esbon, Eoah, and Aride, and Arali. Also the sons of Ashurjimnah, and Ishwa, and Isuah, and Beriah, and Serah their sister, and the sons of Beriah, and Heber, Malchil. These are the children of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bare unto Jacob, even 16 souls. The sons of Rachel Jacob's wife were Joseph and Benjamin. And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath the daughter of Potiphera prince of On bare unto him. Also the sons of Benjamin Bela, and Betcher, and Ashbel, and Gera, Naaman, Yechai, and Rosh, Muppim, and Huppim, and Eadi. These are the sons of Rachel, which were born unto Jacob, 14 souls in all. Also the sons of Dan Hashem, also the sons of Naphtali, Jaziel, and Guni, and Chezer, and Shillem. These are the sons of Bilhah, which Laban gave unto Rachel his daughter, and she bare these unto Jacob. In all 7 souls, all the souls that came with Jacob into Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were in the whole 66 souls. Also the sons of Joseph, which were born him in Egypt, were 2 souls, so that all the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, are 70. Then he sent Judah before him unto Joseph, to direct his way unto Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. Then Joseph made ready his chariot, and went up to Goshen to meet Israel his father, and presented himself unto him, and fell on his neck, and wept upon his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen thy face, and that thou art yet alive. Then Joseph said to his brethren, and to his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and tell him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. And the men are shepherders, and because they are sheep herders, they have brought their sheep and their cattle, and all that they have. And if Pharaoh call you, and ask you, What is your trade? That ye shall say, Thy servants are men occupied about cattle, from our childhood even unto this time, both we and our fathers, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every sheep keeper is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Genesis chapter 47. Then came Joseph and told Pharaoh, and said, My father, and my brethren, and their sheep, and their cattle, and all that they have, are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And Joseph took part of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. When Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your trade? And they answered Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their sheep. So sore is the famine in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Then spake Pharaoh to Joseph, saying, Thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best place of the land make thy father and thy brethren to dwell, let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if thou knowest that there be men of activity among them, make them rulers over my cattle. Joseph also brought Jacob his father, and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob saluted Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The whole time of my pilgrimage is 130 years. Few and evil have the days of my life been, and I have not attained unto the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimages. And Jacob took leave of Pharaoh, and departed from the presence of Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren, and gave them possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, even in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren, and all his father's household with bread, even to the young children. Now there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was exceeding sore, so that the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan were famished by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph laid up the money in Pharaoh's house. So when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, then all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die before thee? For our money is spent. Then said Joseph, Bring your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if your money be spent. So they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread for the horses, and for the flocks of sheep, and for the herds of cattle, and for the asses. So he fed them with bread for all their cattle that year. But when the year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide from my lord, that since our money is spent, and my lord hath the herds of the cattle, there is nothing left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and our ground. Why should we perish in thy sight, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be bound to Pharaoh. Therefore give us seed, that we may live and not die, and that the land go not to waste. So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his ground, because the famine was sore upon them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And he removed the people unto the cities, from one side of Egypt even to the other. Only the land of the priests bought he, not for the priests had an ordinary of Pharaoh, and they did eat their ordinary, which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their ground. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day, and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you sow therefore the ground, and of the increase ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be yours for seed of the field, and for your meat, and for them of your households, and for your children to eat. Then they answered, Thou hast saved our lives, let us find grace in the sight of my lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. Then Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priests only, which was not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had their possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. Moreover, Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. Now when the time drew near that Israel must die, he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If I have now found grace in thy sight, put thine hand now under my thigh, and deal mercifully and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but when I shall sleep with my fathers, thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burial. And he answered, I will do as thou hast said. Then he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him, and Israel worshipped towards the bed's head. Genesis chapter 48. Again after this, one said to Joseph, Lo, thy father is sick. Then he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Also one told Jacob, and said, Behold, thy son Joseph is come to thee. And Israel took his strength unto him, and sat upon the bed. Then Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Eluzit in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and will multiply thee, and will make a great number of people of thee, and will give this land unto thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, which are born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came to thee into Egypt, shall be mine, as Reuben and Simeon are mine. But thy lineage, which thou hast begotten after them, shall be thine. They shall be called after the names of their brethren in their inheritance. Now when I came from Paddan, Rachel died upon mine hand in the land of Canaan, by the way when there was but half a day's journey of ground to come to Ephrath. and I buried her there in the way to Ephrath, the same is Bethlehem. Then Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, Whose are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, which God hath given me here. Then he said, I pray thee, bring them to me, that I may bless them, for the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not well see. Then he caused them to come to him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to have seen thy face, yet lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph took them away from his knees, and did reverence down to the ground. Then took Joseph them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand. So he brought them unto him. But Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it on Ephraim's head, which was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head directing. His hands of purpose for Manasseh was the elder. Also he blessed Joseph, and said, The God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which hath fed me all my life long, unto this day, bless thee. The angel which hath delivered me from all evil, bless the children, and let my name be named upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, that they may grow as fish into a multitude in the midst of the earth. But when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he stayed his father's hand, to remove it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the eldest, put thy right hand upon his head. But his father refused, and said, I know well, my son, I know well he shall be also a people, and he shall be great likewise, but his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall be full of nations. So he blessed them that day, and said, In thee Israel shall bless, and say, God make thee as Ephraim, and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, and God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given unto thee one portion above thy brethren, which I got out of the hand of the Amorite by my sword and by my bow. Genesis chapter 49. Then Jacob called his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what shall come to you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben mine eldest son, thou art my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power thou wast. Light as water thou shalt not be excellent, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then didst thou defile my bed. Thy dignity is gone. Simeon and Levi, brethren in evil, the instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Into their secret let not my soul come, my glory be not. Thou joined with their assembly, for in their wrath they slew a man, and in their self would they dack down a wall. Cursed be their wrath, for it was fierce, and their rage, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Thou Judah, thy brethren shall praise thee, thy hand shall be in the net. Of thine enemies thy father's son shall bow down before unto thee. Judah, as a lion's whelp shalt thou come up from the spoil. My son, he shall lie down and couch a lion, and as a lioness who shall stir him up. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and the people shall be gathered unto him. He shall bind his fall unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the best vine. He shall wash his garment in wine, and his cloak in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell by the seaside, and he shall be an haven for ships, and his border shall be unto Sidon. Issachar shall be a strong ass, couching down between two burdens, and he shall see that rest is good, and that the land is pleasant. And he shall bow his shoulder to bear, and shall be subject unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder by the path, biting the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. O Lord, I have waited for thy salvation. Gad, a host of men shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Concerning Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall give pleasures for a king. Naphtali shall be a hind let go, giving goodly words. Joseph shall be fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by the well side, the small. Boughs shall turn upon the war, and the archers grieved him, and shot against him, and hated him. But his bow abode strong, and the hands of his arms were strengthened, by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob, of whom was the feeder appointed by the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with heavenly blessings from above, with blessings of the deep that lieth beneath, with blessings of the breasts, and of the womb. The blessings of thy father shall be stronger than the blessings of mine elders unto The end of the hills of the world, they shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf in the morning, he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And thus their father spake unto them, and blessed them every one of them blessed he with a several blessing. And he charged them, and said unto them, I am ready to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, besides Mamre in the land of Canaan, which cave Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession to bury in. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and the cave that is therein was bought of the children of Het. Thus Jacob made an end of giving charge to his sons, and plucked his feet into the bed, and gave up the ghost, and was gathered to his people. Genesis chapter 50. Then Joseph fell upon his father's face, and wept upon him, and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants the physicians to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. So 40 days were accomplished, for so long did the days of them that were embalmed last. And the Egyptians bewailed him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake to the house of Pharaoh, saying, If I have now found favor in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, and say, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die, bury me in my grave, which I have made me in the land of Canaan. Now therefore let me go, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. Then Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, as he made thee to swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went all the servants of Pharaoh, both the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, likewise all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their children, and their sheep, and their cattle left they in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and they were an exceeding great company. And they came to Goren-Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they made a great and exceeding sore lamentation, and he mourned for his father 7 days. And when the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, saw the mourning in Goren-Atad, they said, This is a great mourning unto the Egyptians. Wherefore the name thereof was called Yebul Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. 12 so his sons did unto him, according as he had commanded them. 13 For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which cave Abraham bought with the field, to be a place to bury in, of Ephron the Hittite beside Mamre. Then Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father. After that he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, It may be that Joseph will hate us, and will pay us again all the evil which we did unto him. Therefore they sent unto Joseph, saying, Thy father commanded before his death, saying, Thus shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive now, I pray thee, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, for they rewarded the evil. And now, we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of thy father's God. And Joseph wept. When they spake unto him, also his brethren came unto him, and fell down before his face, and said, Behold, we be thy servants. To whom Joseph said, Fear not, for am not I under God? When ye thought evil against me, God disposed it to good, that he might bring to pass, as it is this day, and save much people alive. And when the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, saw the mourning in Goren-Atad, they said, This is a great mourning unto the Egyptians. Wherefore the name thereof was called Yebul Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. 12 so his sons did unto him, according as he had commanded them. 13 For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which cave Abraham bought with the field, to be a place to bury in, of Ephron the Hittite beside Mamre. Then Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father. After that he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, It may be that Joseph will hate us, and will pay us again all the evil which we did unto him. Therefore they sent unto Joseph, saying, Thy father commanded before his death, saying, Thus shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive now, I pray thee, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, for they rewarded the evil. And now, we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of thy father's God. And Joseph wept. When they spake unto him, also his brethren came unto him, and fell down before his face, and said, Behold, we be thy servants. To whom Joseph said, Fear not, for am not I under God? when ye thought evil against me, God disposed it to good, that he might bring to pass, as it is this day, and save much people alive. Fear not now therefore, I will nourish you, and your children. And he comforted them, and spake kindly unto them. So Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children, even unto the third generation. Also the sons of Mashir the son of Manasseh were brought upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am ready to die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land, unto the land which he sware unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry my bones hence. So Joseph died, when he was 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and put him in a chest in Egypt. This concludes the book of Genesis.